We have an election taking place in the midst of an economic crisis, chronic unemployment, 25 million underemployed, 1 in 6 Americans in poverty, 49 million Americans, 17 more than when Obama took office, on food stamps. The standard of living, the median family incomes in this country are dropping. America's credit rating is falling. Our deficit and debt have reached unprecedented levels. A record number of Americans suffering, and we're seeing an explosion of violent anti-American protests throughout the Middle East and North Africa, where for the first time in more than 30 years, a U.S. ambassador is murdered in a terrorist attack, along with 3 other Americans at our consulate in Benghazi. And with a month left in this historically important election, that the Obama campaign decides to make this election about Big Bird. There was one line in a debate to make a point. But Obama can't understand that we're borrowing too much money. He's spending too much money. His debt and deficits are too massive. It's not even funny at this point. Producing and mocking and childish ads because he can't run on his record. What a remarkable lack of seriousness on the part of the president and his campaign. You'll say, well, Romney brought it up first. No, Romney's making a point that's valid. Don't borrow money. And if it doesn't meet the we can't borrow the money from China test, we don't spend the money. And it calls to mind, Obama told the Democratic Convention in 2008 that if you don't have any fresh ideas, you're going to use stale tactics to scare the voters. Well, that's the campaign he's running. If you don't have a record to run on, Obama doesn't. Then you paint your opponent as someone people should run from. You make a big election about small things. Remember that? That was Obama that said that. So could Obama be making this election about anything smaller than ads featuring a big bird? No pun. Of course this is a pattern of Obama. I mean, constantly. Distractions, trivial, otherwise. Grandma, all the attacks. You got it. So one day he's focusing on Mitt Romney's dog. That's not petty. That's not irrelevant. The Obama super PAC accuses Romney of being a murderer, pretty much, of a steelworker's wife. Obama and his campaign want to talk about contraceptives and free birth control pills, and they put up Sandra Fluck and Warren Buffett's secretary and anything that might, sort of hide Obama's failed record and his intellectually bankrupt vision and his failed European socialist views. The game is getting old. The country is suffering. These are people, not statistics we're talking about. The elite mainstream media is out there talking about Sesame Street characters, at least 13 times since the debate, while he has mentioned Libya 0 times. Think about that. The mainstream media blasting Obama, that killed 4 Americans in Libya that he lied about. Now that's an indictment. And what's weird about this is Obama was crushed in the debate, and Team Obama can't help but obsess about the debate. The ad simply reminds voters that Romney is serious about cutting reckless spending. I think it's good for Romney. And which, by a 52-point record margin, people said Romney won that debate. And now the polls are beginning to show, and I'm going to go through these numbers in a minute. The debate is obviously an open wound that Obama and his campaign just can't help but pick at, and constantly reopening here.